Hey, welcome back to another episode of the KB Money Show. It's your boy KB. Super Bowl Sunday, but I wanted to talk. This will probably come out, I don't know, maybe Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Work with my editor to get it out. But what I want to talk about was emergency funds. I know I've been talking about emergency funds, and I just wanted to give you an example of a couple examples of like actually having an emergency fund and the importance of building that. So for me, I'll talk about me specifically. So I'm in the process of, I was at the house, talking to my wife. We was talking about some things, and I'm on my phone, doing some business, just getting ready to send an email, typing out my email, and my phone went blank, right? So I'm like, all right, maybe my phone went dead. Like, okay, cool. But I knew my phone wasn't about to go dead because it didn't say that it was going dead. I think I had like 60, 70%, but it just blacked out. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, all right. So it was like an hour and a half before we had to go to the Super Bowl, where we was going to go. I'm like, well, I told my wife, I'm like, look, I got to go early because I need my phone. So shot over to, to the spot, to the phone place. They were like, hey, we're not able to do anything with it. You have to get a new phone. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Not a big deal, whatever. So, got my phone. But how is this related to emergency funds is it was an extreme inconvenience, but it wasn't a scenario where I was stressed out about the money part. It just, because of my phone blacked out, and the phone place can't fix my phone, and then even going to the places that fix it, they didn't have the parts back, shortage and parts or whatever, because they say my screen might have went out, and so they can replace my screen and it'll probably pop back on because it still had energy and power on the phone. I'm like, all right, we'll just order it. And they're like, well, we can't because it's out of back order. We can't even order it. I'm like, oh, all right, okay, that was a waste of time going there. But the point of all this is I just got a new phone. And how was I able to do that? Now let's make it relevant. Because I have an emergency fund. Now, the way the phones are set up these days, you could pay, $1,000 or $1,500, whatever the phone costs, or you can make the payments and just keep it moving. But because I have an emergency fund, it's really not a big deal to pay, just go ahead and take care of it, pay for it. And so so I wanted to share with you, this is a live example of what it looks like to have the importance of having your emergency fund built, is because things are going to come and you have no idea of when that situation is going to happen. And the sooner you can build your emergency fund, then you can move on with your life and, focus on investing and building and whatever else you want to focus on, fund money, travel, trips, in terms of like putting money aside for other things. And so it's not a forever thing, but once it's built, and then you can keep it pushing for whenever scenarios like this happen. And then, just be inconvenienced, but you can get it done, So I wanted to leave that with you of the importance of the emergency fund and how that is really important to have it built. And so when these scenarios come up, you're good. Another example is I've been working with someone really close to that to build their emergency fund. And so over the last 8 months, 8 months ish, give or take, they've been building their emergency fund, and they built it up pretty significant. Well, guess what? Well, when they started, they didn't really have, they had a couple, 1,000 or two, but I had been working with them to build it up, intensely, go ahead and get it built up. Well, guess what? They got in an accident and had issues with their car. Well, if they wouldn't have had that emergency fund built, as they were building it and hadn't got to where they wanted to get to, but it was pretty, significant for them, this accident would have been like an emergency, really, to be honest with you. And then they would have had to go and finance. Well, guess what? Because they had an emergency fund, they're just going to take the money from the emergency fund, pay cash for the car, keep it moving, and, and replenish their emergency fund. and it's business as usual, and so they're just inconvenienced. But you know, but that's fine. You know, so they're having to do research and make sure the car is legit and all that good stuff. Carfax, you know how they negotiate the rate, how much is the car, going into different shops, going to different dealerships and all that. When you probably had other plans, but you got to do what you got to do. But it's just the inconvenience versus the emergency. So those are the two examples of why it's really important to build out that emergency fund and go ahead and get it done. That way, when things come up, because you're not gonna know when that thing is gonna come up. It's not that it happens all the time, but when it happens, it's like, dang, do I have the money to take care of it, or do I need to go in debt? And so that's the biggest thing is here is like, we're not, I'm encouraging people to consider, eliminating a lot of that consumer debt. And so that's what we're about. That's some of the things that we're about on this channel. And so those are two examples. Hey, let's get that emergency fund built. It's really important. Don't wait. If you're still waiting, maybe the reason I'm sharing this video is because this could be a message to you that, hey, life happens. And so when life happens, maybe it's just an inconvenient versus an emergency. Hey, well, I'll let you go on this. I'll let you go. Hey, leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what your thoughts are. What's your feedback? What's your perspective on emergency funds? And do you have yours built? Outside of that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.